Before we dive into this next episode, I want to just quickly remind you, if you haven't heard yet, or you haven't seen my posts, or you are just missing out on the information, or you forgot to sign up and you forgot to just push that secure my spot button, that the doors are closing to my 14-day program. Yes, I know I've been saying 10 days. I have mom brain. I'm so sorry. But you know what? That's life. That's okay. It's all good. I figured it out. We are working together for 14 days. The group is open for 20 days. It's not 10 days. And it is from broken stuck to cash and clarity. And this is an incredible program all about really calibrating your inner game and your outer game so then you can turn crickets into clients. Essentially what this program is all about is helping network marketers to make the money that they crave in their business and get a lot closer to going full-time. This program is a total immersion. We are walking through your fear. We are understanding where this has come from. We are understanding how it's sabotaging you, how it's holding you back. We are completely creating a new blueprint around money and becoming wealth masters. We are doing all the behind the scenes of your business and your strategy and finding out who you serve and solidifying your niche. And we are creating offers and helping you to actually set up boundaries and make the money that you want and the money that you crave and stop giving everything away for free and figure out how to do this in a way that feels actually really damn good in your business. So this is going to be a total immersion. I'm helping you to not only walk through the fire, and I'm not only just helping you to create all the strategy, but I'm also helping you to become the woman that it is that you want to be. I'm helping you to step in to this next level version of you as a woman. I'm helping you just to become this woman who is actually going to receive all that she desires. And that is probably one of my most favorite parts of the program. So I cannot wait. I am so freaking excited, but make sure that if you haven't registered yet, that you go into the show notes, you click on the link, you go check out all the details, you see if it's for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me a message or to email me at bossybabecoaching@gmail.com. And I would be more than happy to help you and guide you and make sure that it is the right fit for you. But this program, you guys, it starts right away. So I don't want you to sit on this for too long. I'm not going to deep dive into this too much because all the details are on that link. But if you are feeling like in this season you are stuck, if you're feeling really frustrated because your content is just not getting traction, if you're frustrated because you want to make more of an impact and you have so much freaking passion and you have so much that you want to give the world, but you're so tired of the regular 3 to 5 posts a day and just being told by your upline or your downline that that's really all that you can do, or using icky cold follow-up messages and cold messages and just taking things off your list that don't actually move your business forward, then I want to help you. I want to serve you. I want to help you bring fun back into your business and allow making money to be really amazing and fun again and effortless and easy. So I would love to serve you on the inside. I'm so excited. It is going to be freaking incredible. So anyways, you guys, I hope you enjoy the episode. I'm Bensette, founder of the Bossy Babe brand, fitness coach, and serial entrepreneur turned intuitive life and business coach. The Wealthy Babe podcast is for the ambitious, courageous, and spiritually charged up woman in network marketing, craving wealth not only in her bank account, but in every aspect of her life. Get plugged in here each week for authentic and unfiltered conversations from myself and industry leaders who are going to support you and give you all the juicy behind the scenes and real talk around business, spirituality, strong points of view, and doing shit differently. This is a safe space to come undone, be heard, and be given permission to rewrite your own damn rules. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Wealthy Babe podcast. Today, I am getting super real deal with you guys. I am opening my entire soul up, so I hope that you're ready because I'm going to be sharing a story that I have literally never shared anywhere else before. I have never, ever shared this on social media. There are a select amount of people in my life who know this about me. However, it has never come into the public, and you will see why shortly. But I'm really excited to be bringing you guys this episode because it's all about building a business and building a baby. And I'm going through this season in my life, and it's a very amazing journey, but it's also a very unsure journey. And for a very long time, I have appealed to women that probably didn't have kids. And now I'm also going to be appealing to women who do have kids, or women who are thinking about having kids. And I need to make sure because I haven't been, I don't want to say I haven't been open about my journey through my pregnancy so far on social media. However, I've just put much more focus on who I am versus my pregnancy itself. And I want to be real about it. I want to open up because I am 30 weeks this week. And I just feel like now that I'm in the last 10 weeks and we're in the home stretch and things are getting more real, and they're getting more, everything's getting closer. Everything's getting really, really real. And I just feel like this is a perfect time to come in here and share on this podcast, share on this episode and on this platform and with all of you what this actually looks like and what this behind the scenes is. And for me, what, how I got to this place, and just some of my advice and some of my tips moving forward with it for you. And hopefully you on some level can resonate or understand or feel my heart or feel my soul. Maybe you're walking through this season yourself right now, or maybe this is something that you're planning to walk through in the future, or maybe you're not planning to be a mom at all, and that's totally okay too. I still feel that there is stories and lessons and things to learn in here that can benefit you even if you are not planning to be a mom and you have no desire to, because I feel you. I feel you on a soul level. I honestly was never sure if I wanted to have kids. I did not know. I went over in my head back and forth, like, do I want to have kids? Is that something that's in my future? Do I see myself being a mom? Do I see myself changing diapers and getting up in the middle of the night and sharing my life with somebody else? Like, do I feel like this is for me? Or do I feel like, maybe this is something not meant for me and my purpose is somewhere else? And honestly, until I got pregnant, this was my thoughts. And even after I got pregnant, these were my thoughts. I wasn't sure if this was for me. I wasn't sure if I could do it, if I could handle it, if I was meant for this, if I wanted it. And for such a long time, and I mean, I still view it this way, but my business and my kitties have been my kids. They've been my babies. My business has been my baby for 4 years. And my kitties, Penelope and Phil, are my babies. And so I've been so okay with this life. I have been so okay where I am. And I've been so content with the babies that I have, and fostering and building them up and nurturing them and growing them. And that's where my vision was. When I sat down this year and I mapped out a vision for the year for 2018, I can assure you that a baby wasn't on it. I was not planning to have a baby. We were not planning to get pregnant by any means. And, the real deal story here, I'm getting anxious sharing this. I'm getting nervous, but you guys, I'm nervous because it's going out to the world. It's going out to many different people that are going to hear this. Some know my heart, some don't know my heart. Maybe this will be the first time they ever hear my episode, and this could bring judgment. However, I have always felt that by not sharing the story and by keeping the story to myself, on some level, I'm missing or robbing my audience of my full transparency on who I am at my core. And part of me has always almost kind of felt like, well, maybe people don't, maybe they won't accept me, or maybe when I do actually say this, they're going to accept me fully, or maybe the people who I thought would accept me won't accept me in the long run. And it's completely held me back until this point. So, anyways, you guys, I'm going to dive into it, but just know that in my heart, this is one of the hardest things I've ever had to share. And I'm in a much different place now than I was back then. However, it doesn't make it any easier to put out into the world and to be super transparent, to be super vulnerable, and to be super open. But I know at the end of the day that that's my purpose here. My purpose as a coach isn't to put on a filter and just tell the things that I think people want to hear. I have to say the things and polarize and be open and honest about who I am, and also forgive myself for these things and see myself in a different light and know that these things are okay and they've made me, and they have got me to the place that I am now, and everything works out in divine timing as it's supposed to, and it all provides lessons. But I know that there are women out there also silently not sharing this, silently suffering with this on their own, and they don't have a space where they feel that they can be open or connect with other people, so we sit with this in silence. And I don't want women to feel that they have to sit in silence with this. I don't want women to feel anymore that they have to have shame or guilt around this. And so anyways, you guys, 5 years ago, before I met Derek, so I guess a little over 5 years ago, but give or take 5 years ago, I had been with my ex, and I actually had an abortion. It's out there. It's out there. That decision did not come as an easy one. That was one where how old was I? I was like 20 at the time. And even though I was not young, I wasn't necessarily like a teenager. There was a lot of things going on in my life at this time. It was a very unstable, unhealthy, not that I need to necessarily justify or go through it, but I want to kind of give a little bit of a backstory and kind of share where I was in that moment, because I think that played a big part into where I am now. And back then, I was remembering taking calls with the hospital and doctors in the middle of university classes, and running out in the middle of like a marketing class and sitting in the bathroom crying, not knowing what I'm going to do, because in that moment when I went through all this, I didn't have any support. I had a couple friends in my corner, but from the dad to my family at the time, I had no support across the board. I felt in that moment very pushed into a decision. I felt very abandoned. I felt very forced into space that I felt like I had to make this decision, not for me, but for everyone else around me. Because in that moment when I was in this space, before I had done all this work and learned about who I am and healed all these things and understood that I have responsibility and I have choice and I can choose what I want, before all this, I felt like in this moment that I had to make this decision for somebody else. And I felt very pushed and very forced into it. And I know now that I made my decisions, but for a very long time and for many, many years, I walked around feeling like the world owed me. I walked around feeling like they owed me because I made the sacrifice for somebody else. And I'm not going to go into all the details, but I will assure you that it was the hardest thing that I ever had to do. It was the hardest thing I ever had to heal from. It's been the hardest thing I've had to carry around. It's been the hardest thing that I've kept to myself. And it's not an easy situation. There's so much judgment around it. And that's why I haven't shared it. I haven't shared anything because I've carried around so much shame, so much guilt, so much fear of judgment, and this feeling of being scared that people would see me differently, and they wouldn't want to work with me because of my past, and they would judge me. And I mean, I don't know how many times I drove up behind a van, or not a van, like a bus, or seen a billboard or somebody having a post on social media, cutting down women who've had abortions and putting this judgment on them as they're awful people and how dare they, and it's heartbreaking. No matter what decision it is and why you have to make it, it's so unfair for women to have to walk around and feel this amount of shame and guilt that they can't talk to anybody about it. And it's difficult. And so when I found out again that I was pregnant, and this is the craziest thing, is it was almost 5 years to the date, and I did have an IUD in, which obviously stopped working at that point, but I knew that the soul was just trying to come through me, and this was its open door, its open time. However, when I first found out, I experienced all the same emotions that I did 5 years ago. I went through this period of panic, and I went through, it was almost like post-traumatic PTSD. It was almost like I had this moment, and that's kind of what my gynecologist and doctors and people have kind of described to me as what I was going through. But it was almost as if I was going through this PTSD moment, because that was so traumatic for me the first time around. And when it happened to me this time, and I found out I was pregnant again, I went through all the same emotions. I went through all the same feelings. I went through all the same doubts and fears, and I literally felt like my body just catapulted back 5 years, and it was overwhelming. It was really difficult. And in that moment, I didn't know what I wanted to do. If I'm being totally real with you guys, I didn't know, because I felt like me 5 years ago, and I felt like I was back in that situation without a choice. And that was actually in the moment that I had my first session with my coach. And she helped me walk through this in a really empowering way. And it gave me my power back, and it gave me my choice back. And everything really shifted in this space. And what's important for me is that I have a business here to be authentically me. I don't have a business to be fake. I don't have a business to just share what I think others want to hear. I did this knowing that the women, and I'm sharing this because I know that the women who get me will hear my heart and all this, and they're going to accept me for who I am. And I know in the long run, the women who feel disgusted and hurt and angry with me for these past decisions and past circumstances and things that I've done in my life in the past will fall away, and they won't agree with me, and they won't agree with it no matter what the reasoning might have been, or who I was, or how much time has passed. And I have to be okay with that, because in order for me to move through this fear of judgment of others, I have to stop judging myself, and I have to be okay with forgiving myself and moving into this space. I had so many fears of me losing me when I got pregnant again, and I found this out back in February. I went through this whole phase where I was so freaking scared of me losing who I am, or me losing my business. I was terrified, because I thought that if I had a baby, I couldn't have it all, right? I thought that if I had a baby, then something else had to give. There's no way that I could have a baby and have a business and have all of the things in my life that I wanted to. There's no way, right? Because so many women and so many people out there, there's so much fear around it. There's so much fear around having a baby and being a mom and having a business and doing all the things, that there was a story that I made up in my head, I guess, that I couldn't have it all, that I couldn't do all of the things. And you guys, that is so freaking not true. I decided in this moment that adding something beautiful to my life didn't have to also mean taking something away. Okay. I made a decision in this moment to not only choose this baby, choose this path, choose this decision because this baby chose me, but I also decided to choose that I didn't have to lose anything, that I didn't have to lose my identity. I didn't have to lose who I am. I didn't have to lose my business. I didn't have to lose success. I didn't have to lose my relationship and our fire. Like, I didn't have to lose anything, that I could just gain, that in this situation that I could just gain, right? I realized I can be me and I can be a mom. I realized I can have friends that don't have kids and still be a mom. I realized that I can have a badass business and still be a mom. And I realized that I can have an amazing relationship and still be a mom. Everything that we learn and everything that we hear is so fear-based. And I really feel that we need permission as women to make our own damn rules. I feel like for all the moms out there, all the women that are wanting to be moms, or all the women thinking about being a mom, and they have these fears of, will I lose something if I have a business and I get pregnant? Will I lose who I am? Will I lose something here? And I want to tell you, if you choose that, you will. Yes, you will. But if you want to choose that you don't, and you want to decide that you can have it all, you can have it all. At any moment, you can choose that this is only going to amplify your life. You can choose that it doesn't have to take anything away. On the logistics side of it, the first 3 months were very, very difficult. I felt like a failure a lot. I felt very guilty a lot. I felt like angry, I guess, at myself at the end of the day because I couldn't always show up the way that I wanted to because I was so nauseous. I was so sick. I think up until probably about 12, 13 weeks, I was so sick and I could barely get out of bed. I could barely move from the bed to the couch. And I was like swallowing back puke all the time. I was going on sessions and having client calls and I would be like, just hold on a second, trying not to puke. And I would be like swallowing back vomit while I'm on coaching calls. And it wasn't pretty. It was very difficult. There were many days where I didn't know how I was going to do it, how I was going to get through. I think I lost about 5 pounds or so. Actually, in my first trimester, I wasn't gaining, I was losing it. I barely wanted to or could eat anything. And I remember there was one week where it was so bad I thought I needed to go to the hospital because I had never felt so awful before and nothing would stay down. And I literally felt like, how do people do this? How do people get pregnant? Why do people have babies if this is how they feel? I had such a week there. It was so atrocious. I literally almost ended up in the hospital. So my first trimester, I had to give myself a little bit more grace, even though it was difficult mentally for me because I wanted to do all the things, right? I had all these plans. It was the beginning of the year. It was the first quarter, and I wanted to do all these big, beautiful things, and I couldn't do them all the way that I wanted to. So I did plan some things. I did book a photo shoot. I did book an event. I booked things for in the second trimester, and I started making some plans and moving things around for a time that I would feel a little bit better in my pregnancy. And I tried to just honor the season that I was in. I had a really great friend and I have great support system who was reminding me all the time, like, Autumn, you're growing a human. It's okay. It's okay if you can't do all of the things. It's okay if you can't go live today. It's okay if you can't take on a full roster of clients. It's okay if you can't run a challenge. It's okay if you can't show up the way that you want to in your business right now. It's all right. You are in a season where your body's doing a lot of different things. You're growing a human. You need to honor that. And it's going to be temporary. It's not like this forever. And even though that 12 weeks felt like it was for freaking ever, it wasn't. And it moved through. And I moved through it. But there was a period of time where it was really, 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 really difficult for me to show up. Now, I will say I've been lucky since then, and I've been very blessed since then. And might have been some sleep problems, some heartburn, some being uncomfortable, some back problems. I've had a very good pregnancy since then, and I have felt really great and able to show up all the time. So that hasn't been much of an issue. However, I know that for me, when it comes down to the logistics and wanting to be this voice for other moms, that I want you to know that there's no specific way, okay? You have to give yourself grace. You have to be able to just do what you can, okay? You need to listen to what it is that you need. No one else, because what I did might not work for you, and what someone else did might not work for me. And there is enough going on in this place, in this world, in society, telling people and moms what it is they should do based on what they've done themselves. And there's one thing that I know for sure is that this is an individual journey, and this looks so different for every single person. And so there might be some people who experience that morning sickness their whole entire pregnancy, and they have to give themselves a ton of grace at whole pregnancy, and that has to be okay, right? That has to be okay, because we all go through different seasons in our life, and we have to honor them when we're there. And my best advice there to begin with here is just to give yourself that grace, just to honor where it is that you are, give yourself that space, allow yourself to be, to feel, to sleep a little longer, to just chill, watch Netflix, just to be. If you're in the beginning stages of your pregnancy and you're really not feeling good and you just cannot do it all, it's okay to not do it all. It's okay to release this guilt that you have to be in every single place, and remind yourself that you can't always be in a million different places at once, and that's also okay, right? Your people are going to get it. Your babes are going to understand. The people who love you are going to support you and be okay with that, and know that you are doing everything that you can. So do what you can, okay? Listen to your gut, listen to your heart, listen to what your body needs. Only push yourself as far as you're able to go, Okay, if there's days where I'm like so freaking exhausted, my body's burnt out, I'm not going to keep going and pushing it. I'm going to give myself the time. I'm going to make sure that in my day I have at least a little, maybe even like if it's 10 minutes, 20 minutes in between my sessions and my calls, I do that so then I can eat and I can walk around, I can get up off the chair, and I can just take care of me. That's important for me. I have a couple days out of the week where I don't take calls. I try to always take my weekends to honor myself and give myself the time that I can rest and recover and have the energy that I need, not only for my business, but also for baby. So know that you can have it all, okay? Know that you can have it all. You can have the badass relationship. You can have the badass business. You can have the amazing fucking relationship. You can be who you are. You don't have to lose your identity. You don't have to change anything about who you are. Yes, you're going to amplify. Yes, you're going to become even more amazing. But at the end of the day, you also can be exactly who you are, and you can have it all. You can have it all regardless of what other people say. You can have it all. You can decide. And lastly, the biggest question and the biggest tip that I have is think about the woman that it is that you want to be. I talk about this a lot, but when you're looking back in hindsight on your life, and you're looking back in hindsight, and you have to think not just now, but think about in 6 months, or think about in a year, or think about in 5 years, how do you want to look back on this memory? How do you want to look back on this time in your life? How do you want to look back on how you moved through it and the decisions that you made and how you showed up for it? This has kept me going so much through my pregnancy. So many times when I wanted to throw in the towel, or I wanted to play small, or I was scared of investing in my coach because there's a baby on the way, and I was scared of doing all the things. I said, when I'm looking back on this in hindsight, in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years, how do I want to look back on this? Do I want to look back on it as I was scared and I was in fear, and I retreated, and I held on to all my money, and I held on to everything, and I operated from this space of lack and desperation and fear? Or do I want to say that I operated from a space of power and excitement and trust and love and support and surrender? And I knew that I wanted to come from an empowering place. I wanted to come from a space that felt really amazing, and I wanted to be really proud of myself when I looked back on this, and when baby girl also goes and looks back on this and looks back on all of the things that I did while I was pregnant, and was able to see that even though I was building her, I was still building a business. And it was the time in my business and in my life that my business exploded the most, and everything really came together the most. Even in the hardest and most difficult of times, it all came together and in perfect divine timing. So I always want to challenge you and to challenge myself in thinking, who do I want to be when I look back on this? Who would I be proud to look back on this moment and have been? And that moment, that question changes so much, because it gives us our power back. It reminds us that we're not just operating from now, we're operating because we create memories. And what memories do we want to look back on? What memories do we want flooding us at the end of our life? What memories do we want to be proud to see? What memories do we want to be proud to share? What do you want to be proud to share to your child or to your grandkids in time? Who do you want to be when you're telling that story? How do you want their faces to light up? What do you want them to feel? How do you want them to feel inspired? That was a game changer for me. That's what's kept me going, is who do I want to be in this moment? Sure, I have moments where it's hard. Sure, I have moments where I have fear and I cry, or I have hormones and I feel XYZ, but I always decide and choose again, because I want to have and be a specific person and a specific woman when I'm looking back on this memory in hindsight, when I'm telling it to baby girl, and when I'm telling it to our grandkids, and who knows who else. That matters to me. It's important to me. And so that question is keeping me going, and I want to be able to pass it on and give it to you. So when it comes to building a business and building a baby together, you guys, there's no blueprint. There's no fucking blueprint. And I wish I could give it to you guys. And maybe if you send over some more specific questions, I would be happy to dive in deeper in more episodes and actually give you more specific questions on how I've done the things, or how I've moved through certain things, whether it is in pregnancy or it is in business or it's in both. Please feel free to ask, because I'm an open book and I'm so willing to share. But when I was thinking about this topic on, in the bigger picture of it, I sat there and like, well, what do these women really need to hear? Do they need to hear that they need to have it all together? Do they need to hear a strategy? What do they need to hear? And at the end of the day, I'm like, they need fucking permission. They need vulnerability. They need authenticity. They need to hear from my heart when I'm going through, and they need to hear permission that it's okay. It's okay. They're heard, they're felt, they are seen, and whatever they need, it can be done. There is no one right way. There isn't. And if anyone tries to tell you it, they're bullshitting you, because there isn't. And every single pregnancy and every single journey looks so freaking different. So this is mine. This is my story. This is how it has gone for me. But I hope that my journey has helped in some way, shape, or form to just give you some support, give you some guidance, to link arms with you in this season as you move through it, and know that you're not alone, and know that you can choose at any point of who you want to be, how you want to move through it, if you want to have it all, what you want. It's all in your hands. So girlfriend, I love you. I'm supporting you. I'm cheering you on. I'm in your corner. You are so freaking badass. You're so capable of having it all, and you're so capable of having even more. So anyways, you guys, thank you so freaking much for listening. Thank you so much for hearing my heart. Thank you for hearing the purest part of my soul, and just accepting me for who I am and where I'm at, and what I've gone through, and where I've been, and always keeping those arms open and accepting me for who I am, because isn't that what we all want in this world, just to be accepted for who we are? So just know that I thank you. Know that I am sending this love right back out, and my arms are always open to you. So I love you guys so much. And Derek, I was supposed to record an episode with Derek for today. However, he experienced a little bit of fear. He got a little nervous, and it was a little difficult for him. And I totally honor that. I get it. I totally get it. I have been so scared speaking live, and maybe this is one of, a topic for the future, but I have been totally terrified and freaked out to not only launch this podcast to begin with, but to speak on other people's podcasts and be put on the spot and to go live and to do all those things. So I totally honor and get it. And I told him, it's okay. It's okay. We're going to do this in another moment when it feels better for you. And we're going to try it again and move through this together. So I promise you this episode is coming, but in the meantime, I'm going to be dropping this one in here for you. So I hope that you loved it. I hope that you are excited for the next episode. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, if there's anything that you want to know more specifically about my pregnancy, about building a business and a baby, about building the baby, then please let me know, because like I said, I'm an open book, and I want to be of as most raw guidance and support as I possibly can. So again, thank you guys. Thank you so freaking much from the bottom of my soul, bottom of my heart, all of me, for holding space for me in this story and in this episode. So I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.